Hi, I'm Christy. Today I want to talk about discovering places to engage when school ends. So your loved one has finished childhood and the school years. Where do you go from here? For many kids, once they graduate from high school, they move on to college. This may be far from home, the local university, or even the community college in town. Others choose to attend a trade school that allows them to learn a trade or career path in about a year, and still others immediately join the workforce. While making these choices, many times they also move out of their parents' home, begin living on their own, and begin or continue with a job, full or part-time, depending on their situation, and begin figuring out how to live life independently from their parents. They make choices and live with the consequences. Hopefully, they've learned how to make wise choices, and they're smart enough to have learned lessons and make those wise choices. The exact path varies from individual to individual, but I think you understand my point. They grow up, mature, and begin living life on their own terms, as they should. It's part of the growing up process. As parents, we may struggle with this leaving part, but we know that it's the course of life. Very rarely do we want our typical kids to live with us forever. Instead, we're likely to push them to move on with their lives because we know that this is the appropriate path for them to take. For many of our loved ones with special needs, college is not a viable option. So what do they do once they finish high school? Options vary depending on your location and the opportunities available there. Many larger cities have programs that train your loved one to be ready to enter the workforce. These programs vary, but the basic premise of many of them is to teach the job skills needed to be able to join the workforce and work effectively. They are then a contributing member of society. Each program varies in its requirements, duration, etc. If there are multiple options in your area, I recommend looking into all of them and getting as much information as possible before deciding on the best fit for your loved one. If possible, you should consider visiting each program to see things for yourself. Now, I would be remiss if I focused solely on finding a job when discussing life after school. As we all know, there is so much more to life than just work or school. One big area to consider is, where will your loved one live? Will they continue to live with you indefinitely? Move out into their own place? Find a group home? Move into a living community? Find some other alternative? All are valid options. I've discussed them in detail in previous posts, and I'll take a brief look at them in a couple of weeks in a more specific post. Another area to consider is the social activities you want your loved one involved in an ongoing basis. Do they have specific skills or hobbies that they want to continue participating in? Are there groups or organizations in your area that cater to adults with special needs? All of these questions will help guide you to the activities that will keep your loved one engaged in social activities. Over the next few weeks, we'll take a look at each of these areas a bit more in depth. While there isn't time to dive deep into each of these areas, I hope to provide you with some things to think about, questions to ask, and to find a starting point for your loved one. Sometimes it feels like the journey with special needs is unending and something that we do alone. I hope that these posts, with their questions and suggestions, help you realize that you're not alone on this journey. Others have gone before you, and you're going before still others. Together, we can encourage each other, provide perspective, be a sounding board, and help each other find the best solutions for our families and our loved ones. So my question for you this week is this: where is your loved one involved? Do they work? Is there an area that I haven't addressed that's important to your loved one? I'd love to hear about it. You can leave me a comment below, or you can leave me a comment over on the blog. That's at www.havenofhopeforme.com. This originally posted in December of 2021. If you prefer, you can also email me at Christy, CHRISTY, at havenofhopeforme.com. I'm still figuring out all the nuances of H's adult life and involvement so that I can continue to say that life is good and there is never a dull moment.